Name is Matthew Pereira, and this is my Sprint 2 video just to show what we've done. So, our Sprint 2 consisted of us basically setting up our app. The only screens that we wanted completely set up was our login screen, our new user screen, and and those are really the only ones. We got our main menu kind of functional, but it's not styled or anything. But we made sure our login and new user screen were set up, and that's actually what I was assigned to do, was do the login screen and the new user screen. As you can see, I did that. I put in my hours there, and so we can show that I just updated it because I took the code that everyone made the placeholders and I put it together, and I made it all function. So buttons that would press inventory will go to the inventory. So I can just show you all our code. So if you go to source, you can see all updated an hour ago because I did this an hour ago. And so we go to screens, the main.js screen. This is the screen with all the main stuff. As you can see, button inventory, shopping list, and settings. We elected to use React Native Router Flux because React Navigation is more for drawer, stack navigator, and tab navigator, and we weren't really using that for this app, so we kind of didn't want to use it. For this demo for the app, what we have so far, I am using Firebase just because to show that we have the authentication working. So these are different, like Firebase, just like we're gonna make sure the new user works, and I'll show that in here that the new user works. And this is my console, just just what we have going for us. So right now I'm just gonna type in first gonna do create account. So this is our login screen. This is the screen that people are gonna log into. And so if we go to create account, you'll see there's a create account screen. Basically, you'll put in your first name, the access code, email, and password. We don't have an access code now, so that really doesn't do anything for us. So we can just put in dummy numbers like there we go. And for this demo, since we don't really have our database set up, um, the only thing this is really taking in is our email and password and creating a new account, just because that's how Firebase takes it. So that should have created a new account, login, and it logs in. So those are my two main responsibilities. We're getting those up and running perfectly. We wanted that to be done. Um, there will be minor styling tweaks like color and stuff, but for the most part, that's how those screens are gonna look, and that's final. Just wanted that to be set up, and we can go into Firebase, and I can show you that that worked. So I typed in the email mattpereira@gmail.com, I believe, and it's not on here. We refresh the page, and when it boots up, you will see that it loads it. So just give it a second. Uh, there it is, mattpereira@gmail.com. That's not my actual Gmail email. That's just something I put in there. So we tap on inventory. Inventory takes us there. That's a placeholder screen. Shopping list. Shopping list takes us there. That's a placeholder screen. And settings. Settings takes us there, and that's also a placeholder screen. Those screens I did not work on. I worked on this screen and the authentication screen. Those screens were given to me, and I put the actions in it for the buttons to go. So I put the actions that if I press this button, it takes us to inventory. So shopping list, you click add items, and it takes you to the add screen as well. And then settings, upon settings, device manager. This is device manager saying this is the user settings screen. So we'll get more into depth into that in our later sprints. Basically, this sprint was just to get all set up. So basically, this sprint was setting up all the screens, and then next sprint we're gonna start the Raspberry Pi and start detailing all the screens. So my two main things will be, if I can see what they are, begin editing the shopping list and begin editing the inventory list. So when we go into that inventory list, will be basically until we get the database set up, it will still be dummy data, but basically to just make this look nicer, feel more natural. this add item button will go up here instead, and the shopping list will be an actual list of groceries. And then when you add an item, it'll add it to this list. Um, but yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be working on in Sprint 3. Hopefully, putting around 8 hours into that. That's the estimated hours that we're gonna do. And I can show, since we didn't really have any code in our source in our GitHub. All this code is pretty much new code. I can show off some of the GitHub just to show that we're putting it in there. So as you can see, we're putting it in the master branch. This is not a screen I worked on. That's just a shopping view list. This is the main screen. So as you can see, we've pushed it and pulled it so many times that we have made corrections on it. So as you can see, the on press action, those were new because everyone gave me the screen, so I could put it in, say, okay, these buttons are now going to be functional. Let's go to a screen that has not been edited that much so that we can see login form. All this is pretty much all new and basically um, has all the login stuff. So yeah, our GitHub is pretty much mostly like new stuff because our last sprint we didn't make any new code. Um, Starting for the next couple sprints, we will have new stuff in there. So I will actually have like a history to show you like what has changed and what has not changed, and I hope to have that running. And let's see if I am missing anything else for this video. The previous sprint was basically just setting up GitHub, Expo, and Visual Studio. Already had Expo set up, as you can see, because I've taken mobile app before. GitHub, I have it, and then we decided not everyone's going to use Visual Studio because some of us do already have Atom. So we said if you are more comfortable with using what you want, use it. I'm more comfortable with using Atom. I like using Atom. Atom is nice and easy for me. So I like using that. And then I will show off just some of the code just so that you can see what I've been working on. I will just show off mostly what I have done. So let me just pull in all those I have done, and I believe that is it. That is mostly it. So, um, and then some of the actions, so authentication actions, and I don't really need to show off the spinner. Yeah, so basically authentication actions, email change, email password, login user success, login user fail, account made, login user. Um, so basically, when a user logs in, it will throw it through here and sign them in. If not, it will say, "Hey, login was failure," or create an account. It will say Firebase create user account. We haven't put any specifications your password needs to have. As of right now, I don't think we're going to, but we might change it later. So really, you can make any password. It could be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and it could be a password. So yeah, and then here's our app.js. I took out the API key for now. I'm gonna put it back in just for video purposes. It's an API key for my Google Firebase. So with it going on the internet, don't really want it floating out there. But basically, it throws it through a router, which the router then does all the heavy lifting. This router does everything for us. So it pulls up scenes and it starts off with the login screen. And then from the login screen, you can go to the account, create account screen. And then from there, once you log in, it'll take you to the main screen, which the main screen has all these different dependencies that you can do from it. The which some of it will be for the next screen, but basically settings, um, the inventory list and shopping list, and then you can see that we have add, edit. Those are going to be for later sprints as we have those screens on there so that you can actually do stuff. And then I'm just going to show off my new account screen. So that's basically the new account screen. We see input full name, input access code, input email, input password with secure text entry with the buttons. And then as you can see, on when you press the button, it passes through the email and password just because that's what Firebase takes in for now. And then login screen, basically almost the same thing. It takes in the email and password and passes it through. And that is basically our project at Sprint 2. Sprint 3 will go into more detail, but that's what we have for right now. Thank you.